Assalamualaikum and welcome. In this video, we will be presenting our CSC126 group project on car rental program. This project consists of 4 programmers. The first one we have is Arnieza Shafiqa, binti Suzeli, Nurul Insyirah, binti Sedek, Nisrina Nabihah Ridwana, binti Badrul Shahri, and Nurul Aqilah, binti Mohamad Yazid. Enough with the introduction. Now, let's dive into the project summary. Our car rental program called Drivezy car rental system. This project is designed to allow users to rent a car with provided selections such as type of cars, hours of car rental, and few additional services. Moreover, users are needed to provide their personal data as a requirement to be kept in our system as evidence that they used our services. There are 3 types of cars provided for users to choose, which is sedan, SUV, and MUV car. Users are free to make their choices to choose either one to rent and to add any extra services that are provided with additional charges. Additionally, up to 5% discount given only after 11 hours rent, 50% on the first day, 30% discount is applied only on the 7 days or 1 week, and 40% discount is applied only on the 4th week or 1 month. However, users are obligated to pay the deposits before renting to avoid unwanted situations to happen. The overall charge of services used like the record of booking, hours rented with discounts, if any, deposits, total charge of additional services, including users' information, will be displayed in the receipt that will be provided after renting.
Next, we are going to talk about the objective of our car rental program. First is our booking system. Our booking system is made to allow customer to enter their personal data. Next, to allow customer to enter the categories of the car that they want. Also, to choose the type of car that they want based on what they have chosen earlier. It also helps customer to pick the hours, days, or week of the car rental program based on how long that they want to rent the car. Next, we also allow customer to have a choice whether or not to rent a baby seat and also a rooftop box. And lastly, it is to display the final charge of the customer. Next is our customer support. The customer support is made to managing the cost of each rental car. The next objective is rental pricing. It is used to calculate the rental cost based on various factors such as the car type, the hours, days or weeks of the car rental, and also the rental of baby seat and car box. They will also be given discount based on how long do you rent the car, such as 5% given only after 11 hours rent, and also 15% on the first day, and 30% discount applied only on the 7th or after 1 week of the rent, and also 40% when you rent for a month. And this discount will be given for each car. The last objective is record booking. This is to display the overall of customers' information, display total charge without any additional fees, which is without the baby seat and also without the rooftop box. Next is also to display the total discount, and lastly to display the total charge of addition fees including the deposits.
In this part, I will be explaining about the analysis of our program, which include the input, process and output. First one is input. The user will be asked to enter their name and phone number. The user is also required to choose their car by entering the code of sedan, SUV or MUV. Then they must enter the code HD or W to determine how the duration of rental would be. Either it will be hours, days or weekly. And the final one, they can choose either they want to include the extra service by entering the letters Y or N, which stand for yes or no. In this process, the program will calculate the price of the car, discount, extra service and the total amount that user need to pay. These calculations are based on the user's choice of car, durations, and the extra services that they choose. So let's look at the details of the car rental and the extra services based on the duration. Based on the table shown on your screen now, we include few discounts on certain hours, days hours, 5% discount is applied until the 23rd hours. For daily rental, 15% discount is applied on the first day of renting. And for weekly, 30% discount is applied only on the 7th days of rental, which include 1 week of renting. Lastly, if you rent the car for 4 weeks, user will get discount up to 40% for renting the car for a month. This discount is applied to all kind of car in our program. The only thing that differentiates these three kind of car is their starting price, which start with Rm20 ringgit, 60 ringgit, and 80 ringgit. For the extra services, we offer baby seat and rooftop car box. The user can enter any numbers for the amount of baby seat that they want to rent. In the output part, there will be a table of types of car with the price will be displayed on the screen for the user reference. Then they will choose the car and the chosen car will be displayed on the screen together with the details. After the calculation, the total price including the discount and the extra services also will be displayed on the screen, and the customer details, which include the usernames and their contact number, will be displayed, and lastly, the total invoice of the customer rental will be displayed on the screen.
Hello, my name is Aqilah, and today I will be explaining the flowchart for our group project. The flowchart will start by displaying a question to customer whether they wanted to start the system or not, and the answer will be inserted into the system. Next, moving on into a sentinel while structure, which when answer is not Y or N, which is yes or no, it will ask customer to insert correct answer again. When customer inserted Y or N, it will move to the next while structure where if the answer is Y, system will insert activation when customer entered P to proceed. Meanwhile, if customer answered N, the system will end. Next, from the activation, you will enter another while structure where if the customer entered P, it will enter the system. Meanwhile, if customer does not enter P, the system will also end. Once we go through the latest while structure, it will display enter your name and contact number for the customer to insert their name and phone number, and the answer will also be inserted into the system. After that, it will display the car option, which is moving on from the car option displayed, customer will need to enter their chosen car and it will enter into the system as well. Next, there will be another sentinel while structure as to when the car chosen is not as what has been displayed, customer will need to enter again. When the car chosen is correct, it will ask customer to enter duration and the answer will be also inserted into system. Whereas, if the answer is not H, which is for hours, day, which is D, and W, which is weekly, the process will repeat again, as there is a sentinel while structure after that. Once the customer has inserted their chosen car and duration, it will enter a multiple nested if selection for the pricing where it was arranged according to the duration and car selection, and it all have slightly different statement, which is from the hours, days, week, and the pricing process. The first situation of the multiple nested if selection is when the customer has chosen car number 1 or number 2 with the duration of hours. When this two situation is right, it will then ask customer for how many hours would they like to use the car, and the answer will be inserted into the system. For the hours inserted, it will enter a multiple nested if selection for the hours, which the first situation is when the hours is in the range of 2 to 10 hours and it will have its own pricing process. And the next one is when the hours is in the range of 11 to 23 hours where it also has its own pricing process. And lastly is when the hours is out of those two situations, the charge will be 0. However, if the situation is car number 1 or number 2, but the duration is not hours, it will move to another situation where car chosen is number 1 or number 2 and the duration is days. The rest of the multiple nested if selection situation is all quite the same, and the only difference is in the car and duration chosen by the customer and also the pricing process. At the end of this multiple nested if selection is the last situation is when the duration and the car ID chosen by the customer is not as what has been in the system. It will display or it will enter the charge of 0. After all the multiple nested if selection for the car pricing, we will enter another multiple nested if selection where this time it's for discount applied to be displayed later on the receipt. Moving on, after the multiple nested if selection of the discount, you will ask the customer whether they need a baby seat and the answer will be inserted into the system. And move to an if selection where if the answer was yes, which is why, the charge service will be 20 ringgit, and it will also display to the customer how many baby seat would they want, and the answer will be inserted into non-baby seat. After that, the charge will be moved to the total charge service 1. However, if the answer to the service 1 is not yes, which is why, it will charge as 0. Moving on from the total charge service 1, the system will ask the customer whether they wanted a rooftop box service, and the answer will be inserted into service 2, which will be moved on into an if selection, whereas if the answer is yes, which is why, the charge service 2 will be 30 ringgit, and meanwhile, if it's not y, which is yes, the charge will be 0. Moving on from the charge service 2, it will move on to the total charge of all service, and from it will move on to the total price, which is included from the charge from the car price and also the total charge of all service. From the total price, we move on to the display of the customer details, which is the receipt. At the end of the receipt, it will display how we'd like to pay to the customer for the payment method, and the payment method will be inserted into the system as well. From the payment method, the system will display enter P to proceed and E to exit, and the answer will be inserted into the activation, which will then move to a while structure. In this while structure, if the answer was P, the process will be repeated. Repeating process will be repeating starting from the customer name. While if the answer is not P, the overall process will end. And that is all for the flowchart. As for the Sedek code, it is very similar to the flowchart, hence it will only be displayed.
For the source code, in the coding, we use array function and void function as a part of the program where the users will be asked to enter the information, car type they have chosen, booking, duration, additional services, and when will the discounts will be applied. Starting from the main program, users will be asked to start the program and confirmation to activate the program or the booking process. Next, for customers registration, users will be asked to type in their full name, phone number, and car ID. Car ID table with a variety of car types will be displayed, and users will be asked once again to choose their car. Next, users need to choose the booking duration. It can be days, months, or weeks, based on car ID user choose. Here we have booking hours, days, and weeks for sedan, and the same for the SUV and MUV car. For the discount list, discounts will be applied based on their booking duration. For the service option, additional services like baby seat and rooftop are provided. The overall price will be calculated and displayed later in the receipt. In the void function, car ID in form of table and customers' details will be called back as a data into the main function. Lastly, in the printed receipt, Customers' information, booking duration, total charge of the services, discounts applied, and the total rent fee after discount will be retrieved from the program and displayed on the receipt. Now for the output sample. The program will ask the customer to start the booking process. Our program is an anti-case sensitive, so the program will not turn error if users enter lowercase letter. To proceed with the booking process, the program will ask to enter P to proceed or E to exit. Then the program will ask for the customer's information like their name and contact number. Then the program will display a table of cars options available. They will be categorized by their car ID, car type, car brand, how many passengers can ride the car, and the starting price. The program will ask for the customers should choose an ID. For example, here we choose car ID number 4. Then the program will ask for the booking duration where customers can choose to run it for hours, days, or even weeks. Here we enter W, which indicates weeks. The program then asks for how many weeks where there are limitations only 4 weeks maximum. To continue, duration entered is 4. Next, the program will ask whether the customer wants to add on additional services like babysit, how many babysits needed, and rooftop box. Here, the sample entered was yes for both and babysits needed is 2. In the printed receipt, the customer's name and details such as contact number, rental duration, car selected, service charges, discount applied, total price after discount, and the overall total of the rental will be displayed. A warning displayed as a reminder. Lastly, the program will ask the customer's preferred payment method where they can choose to pay in cash, by card, or by online banking. Then the program will ask whether the customer wants to end or continue for another booking process. And done.
As we go through our car rental system project, we could say that our system helps easing the customer to choose the car that they wanted to use by having a guidelines of car and prices shown before customer choosing the car that they wanted to use. Next, it also helps us as the management to identify which car would be used and how long it will be rented out to the customer before offering it to other customers so that overlapping booking does not happen in the future. Our car rental system have a simple and easy booking system because simplifying the booking process is our main priority so that it will be easy for the customer and also for us the management to undergo the booking process. Next, we also make it so that the customer could rent the car in hours, days or weeks so that it will be more simplified. Whether the customer want to rent the car for 1 hour, for 1 day or 1 week. Not just that, it is also cost friendly as we offer discounts to a certain amount of booking time to help the customer to make the right choice and go for the longer trip for a good amount of money. Our car rental system are also family friendly as we included a choice to add a baby seat and also a rooftop box for a big family traveling so that they could take advantage of these choices.
We have come to the end of the presentation about our Drivezy car rental system. So, we can conclude that we are successfully provide convenience and flexibility to our customer because user can easily enter their personal data and pick their chosen car without any problems. We also able to avoid confusion by giving choices of rental duration for the user to choose how many days, hours or weeks they wanted to rent their car. And the system also offers extra services such as the baby seat and the rooftop car box. And our system offers lots of discount as low as 5% up to 40%. All in all, this system is more systematic compared to the old system and it is very helpful for the further use. That's all from us. Thank you.